Hello, Fems. Happy Monday. I am Violette de Ayala. I'm the founder of FemCity, and you're joining me today for our Monday Motivation. We're mixing it up a little bit today. I've invited these beautiful, inspirational, motivational women to join me today in our conversation. If you are joining us live, we'd love for you to participate in the conversation. You can add comments, you can share aha moments, you can ask questions, and you can also, of course, just send us some love. We like that too. So if you want to just hit that love button, we love that. You can also share some love through your comments. And if you're watching the replay, I know a lot of our Fems like to watch our FemCity content on the weekends and binge it. I love that as well. So if you're watching the replay this weekend, or if it's a year from now, you can always reach out to any of us. We are here for you. We've already discussed in the green room our collaborative and collective energy to help women move forward in today's topic. So we'd love to hear your success. And I see some Fems watching already, so we're so happy that you're here. So these two women, you may not know who they are. They are new FemCity partners. I've gotten a chance to get to know them. I can't wait to get to know them more. But you might see their names, kind of circulating around FemCity. So I'm going to go alphabetical order, so that keeps me in check. Barb, will you just share a little bit about the work that you're doing in this world for Fems that do not know who you are?
Sure. I'm Barb Provo with Purse Strings, founder of Purse Strings. And what we do is we provide women free online tools and resources to help them make really smart financial decisions for themselves and for their families. And then we always, what we always do are searching for financial professionals who want to serve a female market. So we are building this kind of our own little Rolodex, if you will, of Purse Strings approved professionals. Those are any financial professional, could be a realtor, lender, attorney, financial professional who really knows the female market, wants to serve the female market, and really will provide her the time, the respect, everything that she needs to engage in a financial investment or transaction, whatever it is that she needs.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And for those Fems that want to join or want a connection with Barb, email me and I'll go ahead and send an introduction to you girls. So don't worry about that. All right, so let's go to Bobby. Share a little bit about yourself as well, please.
Hi, my name is Bobby Carlton, and I am the founder of Innovation Women. I have some other businesses too, but let's focus on Innovation Women today. Innovation Women is an online visibility bureau. We don't call ourselves necessarily just a speaker bureau because we are all about the visibility and what it brings to you in terms of your career or your business, because visibility is always what drives business and career opportunities. So the more visible you are, whether that's on stage, speaking at a conference or an event, or doing something like this, the more successful you are, because people know your story. Every time you get to tell your story, you are getting opportunities. So we connect women with event managers, with journalists, and with others who can use their expertise in terms of content creation, whether that's video, on stage at conferences and events, or through the content creation that we do ourselves. We also own a magazine for women entrepreneurs called Lioness Magazine. So that's another way to drive thought leadership.
Amazing. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into today's conversation. You can tell that we collaborate, right? You see how we're all working together? That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about empowering women through collaboration. So I was looking at each of you as you were sharing, and I was thinking that the way that I met you were through members of FemCity. And I love that they thought that we should all meet, and then we met and we then started collaborating. So, part of, I think we all kind of shared a little bit about this when we were chatting, is that women are a little bit fearful when it comes to collaborating. So when we talk about collaborating, there sometimes is a narrative that says, well, I don't want to collaborate because if I collaborate, then Bobby's going to steal all of my people, right? I mean, that sounds ridiculous, but I'm sharing some of the fears that I've heard women have. Or some people might say, well, if I partner up with Barb, I mean, what's to say that people, like her more than they like me, and then they leave me too, So there are all these narratives that I think have been somehow given to some women in our communities that makes it so that they're scared of collaborating. They don't want to move forward. They get those introductions and then they kind of stop short with sharing everything that they've had. And let me tell you like how I've done it. And that sense of community kind of just breaks at that moment. And so I wanted to ask you, like, why do you feel women are often scared about collaborating? They talk about it, but when it comes to doing it, they kind of backtrack a little bit. Barb, what are some thoughts that you have on that?
I was thinking about this topic, and what kept popping up for me was that movie, like Mean Girls, where there's always these kind of cliques and, only certain people can get into our group and we're going to protect and all of that. And I thought, where does that come from? Where's this kind of protection coming from? And as we get older and wiser and meet more people, we realize that's really just insecurity around protection, I believe. I really think collaboration is more around giving instead of, keeping everything to yourself. So that's what, when I was thinking about this, I couldn't get that movie out of my mind, and kind of how we're enculturated to keep things to ourselves and not share. But really what we learn as we grow older and as we're entrepreneurs, you can't grow unless you give and share.
Yeah, love that. So we had some, so Sarah, one of our FemCity members, says, I was in that movie as an extra. That is so cool. So cool. I'm dying to see, I think Tina Fey, I don't know I think she's involved with the Broadway production, but I'm excited to see that. It's one of my favorite movies because we've all experienced the Mean Girls culture. All of us. I mean, I remember as a middle school being called Beached Whale, because I was on the heavier side. And so I was just sharing that with one of my best friends from middle school that had no idea that I was going through that. She was like, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, I don't know. It was just like, I think there was so much bullying going on that Mean Girls culture really was such a part of it. Maybe that's what makes it so that when we become adults, we're kind of in that mode of, we don't want to share. We don't want to go ahead and collaborate because we tried in the past and maybe some people made fun of us or mean to us. And maybe that breaks down that spirit of wanting to collaborate. What do you want to add to that, Bobby? I'm sure you have some thoughts that are going on.
I'm actually kind of, when you said Mean Girls, kind of taken back to, I worked long ago and far away for a company that was using literature to help preteen girls with self-esteem issues. And during that time frame, that was top of the hit parade, Mean Girls and that culture. And I think a lot of women do think back to middle school, and there is long history of, I hate to say it, women against women, and women who were seen as, oh, she got up so high, but she didn't bring other people with us or with her. So, I think that there's history, and we are reminded all the time of that history when we do look at the top of organizations and we see so few women. There's often a feeling of there's room for only one woman in a large organization. And once she's gotten there, well, she can't help somebody else because that would endanger her own position. But I do think what Barbara was saying in terms of insecurity, deep down, we're all still middle schoolers who are not sitting at the cool kids table, right? And, we don't want to be rejected. We don't want to display any weakness because that could be used against us. And I think a lot of people are concerned that partnering could be seen as a sign of weakness. Or if I open things up, they will see the holes, the gaps, the errors. So I do think a lot of people worry about that and are insecure about really opening themselves up too far.
I love that. Love that. Very, very wise. And I totally, oh my gosh. This is what I wish I could we should have a love button that I could give, like a love button or a little applause like they do in, I think Zoom has a little clap feature. I was thinking, often I talk about Disney movies, we talk about middle school and kind of how those moments may have created these narratives where we don't feel secure in partnering up or collaborating with women. And I remember recognizing a couple of years ago that Disney, and I have 3 kids, or 2 are adults now, but Disney had never had a movie, an animated movie that had 2 women as friends. If you go back to the history of all of the the animated movies. They sometimes have a boy and a girl that are friends, or they might have sisters like in Frozen that they're friends, but they've never had, I mean, maybe now this year they've released one, I don't know, but they've never had one that had two women as friends. I watched Incredibles Part 2, or Incredibles 2, like 2 or 3 years ago when it came out, and I was excited, not to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it. So if you haven't seen it, close your ears. At the beginning, they have two women that are friends, and I got excited. And actually, it was a little odd. I was like, why does this feel so weird? It's because I had never seen a Disney movie with two girls as friends, two women as friends. And sure enough, at the end, she ends up backstabbing her. So I think there's also this play, that we're watching this as little girls, and we're seeing this programmed into, our thought, like we've never seen it happen, therefore it can't possibly happen. And then when we do see it happen, it turns out that, Barb did steal from Bobby, and see how it goes, So I think that there's a whole bunch of also media play into the way that we feel, whether it's our insecurities or we're repeating, unpleasant moments and memories that we had when we were children or in child or middle school. But there's also this narrative that's constantly playing, which I think plays into a lot of the movies also, right? Like Violet's going to steal your husband, like all that stuff. So we had a Facebook watcher saying right now, what message is it sending our girls? And absolutely, what's it sending to women, right? Like if we had never seen that, I often tell our leaders when they start a FemCity chapter to start honoring women on social media, because that is the first place that we can really share. Look what it's like for me to honor Barb, for me to stop and honor Bobby and her accomplishments and successes. It inspires others then to do the same, because it does really feel good when you do collaborate and work together. So, all right, let me ask you. So the next question I wanted to ask you guys is that, so we've talked about why do we feel that, what can we do to really empower women when it comes to collaborating and seeing also that wealth mindset aspect, which I think you touched upon it, Bobby, where there's a scarcity mindset where you get to a certain level, I'm at the top. This is it. Like if someone comes up here, I may be the one knocked down. So there's that kind of like scarcity, poverty mindset that happens sometimes. But what can we really do to empower women? Let's go to Barb and then to Bobby, since we're doing the alphabetical order.
Gosh, I think we need to, like we were talking about Disney, right? There's so many things wrong with Disney, and there are so many messages that are being sent to young women, to women as we age, to women our ages. The messaging is so powerful, and yet we need to really fight against it. And I think the best thing to do is really find those mentors, those women who are making powerful strides in collaboration, like yourself, Violet, in terms of really encouraging people to, step out, widen your circle, grab somebody else's hand and pull them in. Just recently, I was listening to, a podcast on Billie Jean King. And I think about someone like her as a model, as a mentor, as somebody who is really a change agent, has really done so many wonderful things for women. So it's kind of like, even if you're not invited to the mean girl table, you make your own table, right? And you invite those people that you want to be with, be like, and will help one another grow. And so I think as entrepreneurs, that's what we do. We step outside what the norm is, and we stretch out onto that skinny limb, and we look for the helpers, right? And the other people that are going to help us grow and help one another. And those are the tables that we like to sit at.
I love it. And I got chills as I was listening to you say that, because all three of us have done that. All three of us have created an organization, a community for women that you can sit at this table with us.
Yes.
You can sit with us, and I just got chills. I was like, I just looked at all three. I was like, wow, that's what we did. We literally were like, you know what? I couldn't find it. Let me create it. Let me make it for myself and for others. Bobby.
Wow. I look at partnering and collaborating as just about the most effective company building, business building, reputation building tactic and strategy that's out there. And I feel like we need to actually verbalize that. We need to demonstrate it. We need to showcase these partnerships and show the successes. That's one of the reasons when I had the opportunity last year to buy Lioness Magazine that I did so. I was running what's ostensibly a non-traditional speakers bureau. Yes, and it's hard. It's a speakers bureau. It's getting more women on stage, but it really is about the visibility and being able to share as much as possible of what it is we're doing and what's working. And if women kept seeing stories, if they kept seeing conversation, if they're hearing podcasts, they would understand that these tactics are successful and they would seek to emulate them. But what we do see often in the media is the non-successes. We see the disasters. We hear from the media, oh, this failure, that failure. We're seeing a tiny, tiny percentage of women who get funded through venture capital, who, like, what is it, less than a 3% venture capital is going to women. So we see all these issues and we're not seeing the successes. So, for example, on the venture capital front, if you're a woman who is starting to build a company and you're like, I'm building a company and it's going to need venture funding, oh my gosh, I'm doomed. Maybe I will start some business that doesn't need VC money because I would never get VC money as it is. I might as well give up. I mean, we keep talking about the failures and we don't talk about the successes.
Yeah, incredibly powerful. Yeah. And focusing on that aspect of it and then sharing it inspires. And I can't remember which one of you, when we were talking individually, that we shared that, is that when we share our stories, I think it was you, Bobby, because that's what you share stories. You help women share their stories. That the more we share those, it inspires others. So if you do get that venture capital, funding, that when you share how you did it, how you got there, what you did, who mentored you, those stories, then it really inspires others to also then pursue that avenue as well. So there's such an important part of the roles that we play when we share also the journey with others. So, all right. So advice that you have for women that want to start collaborating. So we may have some women that are like, okay, that's it. I'm going to collaborate. I don't know where to start. Like, where do I even go? Like, what's some advice that you would share with them for those that do want to start collaborating with other women? And let's go to Barbara and then to Bobby.
Yeah. Well, I'm reading this book and, it's not earth shattering, but it's a great message. It's just, give and take. It's all about giving. And I'm not saying give away the bank, but it's all about giving of your time. How can I help you? Who can I connect you with? What else do you need from me? Because once we, offer that over to people, the more you give, the more you get. I mean, it really is that way. And I would just say, it's, people think that collaboration is about what can I get from other people, but it really is all about, that's the secret. It's all about giving. What can you give? That would be my, first piece of advice is what can you offer others to help lift them up?
Love that. And I find also sometimes women will say, well, I gave Barb all this stuff and she didn't give me anything in return. And it's like, yeah, it may not come from Barb right there and then, but you know what? Bobby will probably send, like, I always find that to be true. So it's like that karmic bank, right? So I'm doing good work. I'm sharing. I'm expecting it to come from Barb, but it'll come from Bobby. And then eventually, Barb, a year from now, maybe she'll send an introduction. So it always plays out. But I think that's that short-term vision that so many women that I know that see that they're like, well, I gave and I didn't get anything. It's like, yeah, but you have to give without expecting in return and put that energy out there, and people will see that and will come back to you through another opportunity that's connected somehow. So anyway, Bobby, what would be your advice that you would give?
Oh my gosh. So this is where I'm going to be a little bit of a contrarian. So there is a lot of give and give first mentality in the startup community. And actually, there are some people that are out there in the startup community who are like, give till it hurts. And you also have to value yourself and what you have, that, you can't just keep giving it away. It's like, here's where I'm going to be a little bit like, but I heard one startup entrepreneur pundit who talked about his whole theory of give first. And I felt at the time, it's like, you know what? That's lovely for you. You have had multiple successful companies. You don't have to worry about a roof over your head. You don't have to worry about feeding the kids. And the give first mentality for him was coming from a place of comfort. You know, it's like he had enough money in the bank to send the kids to college. And so he was fine with the give first mentality. And while I am like, there's a huge amount of give and value, I still have to come to it from the point of view of protecting myself and the value that I have to offer in the marketplace. Now, that aside, I love a good co-opetition type thing. I love when I can have a partnership with somebody that other people might look at and go, isn't that your competition? No, that isn't. That is my best partner. They are probably looking at the same marketplace that I'm looking at. They are probably talking to the same people. They're doing some of the same things, but there's nobody that's doing exactly what I'm doing. So if I can partner with the people who people might see exactly as my competition, we are both probably going to win and win big. If I can figure out what gap I fill, what gap they fill, where we don't overlap, it's going to be a huge win.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you mentioned that, because I think that there is a misconception when people say, well, give away. Well, it's not giving away. I mean, all three of us are not giving away one-on-one sessions with people that want to meet with us. You know what I mean? Like, there is a point where you definitely, you can give of yourself and with referrals and with introductions, but that karmic energy comes back to you. But it's not to say because we'll all be on the streets, right? Like, we all have mortgages and like we have to eat food.
Protect yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So
don't give it all away.
Don't give it all. I mean, give it up, but don't be like on the phone, like, wow, this is my 10th one-on-one today. And I'm on ramen noodles here. I need to eat something.
I've actually figured out strategies for some of those things. Like when I first started in business, everybody wanted to have lunch. Everybody wanted to have coffee. Everybody wanted to take me out for breakfast. I would have weighed 400 pounds, but what I ended up doing was I set aside time on Friday mornings. I was at a coffee shop. I was doing my work. If nobody showed up, I could get work done, but I was not running all over town with my laptop and my bags, eating up money on parking and gas and time. I had a very finite period of time. I was open to all comers during that time frame. And that continued on for years. And now it's actually morphed into the Zoom time that we have with Innovation Women members on Friday mornings. I am there every Friday morning if you want me. And if not, I'll get some work done.
Yeah. Right. Love that. I refer people over to our FemCity Miami event when people and we do. I'm sure we all get 20, every day. Like, you want to do a coffee? Can I pick your brain? Can I this and that? So my response is pretty similar, is I'm going to be at the FemCity Miami event. I'm happy to be there 10 minutes early. And if you want to get there, we can chat. And it's interesting how many people don't do that. They show up late. So it's you got to prioritize it also. Yeah. I love that you mentioned about the, because that's another topic I think that a lot of women will say, well, she competes with me, so why would I collaborate with her? Before the pandemic, we used to have at our FemCity events a table. It was the uber smart table with medicine. We had dermatologists and we had dentists, and they'd all sit together in the same table, and we would stand up and do our pitches. And it was so funny because people would go, well, how's that going to go? There's 3 dermatologists. I mean, how's that going to go? Well, one would stand up and share her specialty. So it might be, I specialize in, acne for teenage children. So come and see me. And then another dermatologist may specialize in, fillers and injectables. So that might be her pitch. I always found it to be so beautiful because the 3 of them together shared different aspects, and then they all had different energies. So people resonate with wow, I really liked the way that's what I need in my life. So even in that perspective, when you are quote unquote competing, it makes a huge presence, seeing all 3 of them back to back, trying to figure out how's this going to play out. They all looked really amazing, and they all got a ton of business, by the way. They all made a ton of money because they were all in it together in a collaborative spirit, and that looked so yummy from the outside. It looked so good.
I saw this little statement one time that said, if you think you're in a competition with lots of other similar people doing the same thing, take a walk down the bread aisle and
Yeah.
see how many different kinds of bread there are. And all those companies are still in business, and there's probably 50 different brands and kinds and flavors and shapes and sizes. And I thought, that's really a good kind of picture, a mindset to say, hey, we all have something unique to offer. So I thought that's something good to keep in the back of your mind.
I love that. I do that with the bras. There's so many new bra companies. There's that Third Love, and then there's one. And I think, can you imagine being a female entrepreneur, and saying to a friend, I'm going to go ahead and create bras. And they're like, bras? Like, you've got Victoria's Secret, you've got Nordstrom, Target sells really good bras. Like, why would you create a bra? I'm like, look at them. They did amazing. And Soma Intimates also, they were a partner of ours last year. Why would you? But there's space for all. There's so much, and people might choose a Soma, and they might choose, one from Target. There are options, and everyone. So yeah, I love that example. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap up. Barb, how can Fems find you to learn more about the work you're doing in this world?
Yeah, well, Purse Strings, all of our tools and resources are free. We give them away, actually, at pursestrings.co. You can find us there. And then also we're on all social media, Purse Strings CO on Facebook. We're on Insta. We're all over. So search us.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And for those that are global members at FemCity, reach out to me for that introduction if you'd like. And let's go to Bobby. Bobby, how can Fems find you to learn more about the work you're doing in this world?
Innovationwomen.com. And like Barb, we also have tons of free resources for women that are interested in increasing their visibility or kickstarting a speaking career. Just go to speaker resources on the Innovation Women website. And most of the stuff, if you ask a question of Innovation Women, it'll end up in my email box.
Love it. Love it. And again, for those FemCity Global members, if you'd like an introduction to Bobby, let me know as well. I'm happy to do that. And that is a wrap for us today. Oh, Sarah says, thank you so much. Sarah, we want to know how it was to be an extra on the Mean Girls movie. Were they really mean, or were people nice? That would be great. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. We'll be back on Wednesday for our Wisdom series. And to learn more about FemCity, if you'd like to go ahead and check out our free 30-day trial membership, we have it ready for you. Head over to FemCity.com. We'd love to get to know you and support your business and your brand. And we wish you a great week. Let us know how these tips helped you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.